Now, I knew when you start stumping, it was over. We were going to church. I was like, I was expecting, no, well, thank you. That was inspirational and beautiful. That was also a challenge for us. And you reminded us that power is not going to be built by accident, and that hope is not something we wait on, it's something we practice, protect, and build together. I want to stay with a number of things that you said, but we don't have time. But what it means to build solidarity, not in theory, but in real conditions and across difference. Thank you for that. It's a message we need right now, especially in Washington and what's coming our way. Also across geography, given this room, right? And across the kind of tensions around race, gender, class, some of our politics that can tear us apart. When you look at the long arc of movement work from Black freedom to indigenous sovereignty rights, immigrant justice, queer and trans liberation, what gives you hope, I would say, that people in this room like this year, like, because we got to do it like right now, that we can do it. I want to make this a little personal. So I see in leftist movements that are growing now, including Working Families Party, DSA, a number of leaders, Ayanna Pressley and Bush, and so many beautiful people who are building a broader politic, right? And I think I didn't know what it was until you said today, this pissed off majority. Because people like me, right, have been pissed off for a long time, and also pissed off that everybody in this room wasn't as pissed off as we were. And now we're all getting there. And so that makes our community and me, I can't speak for everyone, it makes me feel seen. What does it take to build the kind of political formations that can hold the complexity of who we are in this room, where we can all be seen and where we can maintain this momentum that we're in right now?
Thank you for framing that question and for bringing it from the personal to the communal and political. Well, one thing that I think is really important is I like that the fact that the theme is about connection. One way when I think about connection, and your clergy, so you could, is when I think about the spiritual. Whenever I've had a very spiritual experience, is because I felt more connected, right? And when we think about what has happened to our culture and our society over decades, it has been a one-sided assault on working people, but a one-sided, single-handed 5-decade assault on our connections, right? Because they know that when we're connected, there's not much that they could get away with. But when we're disconnected, there's not much that won't happen to us because of their strategies. So they have to first sever our connections. When I think about what's required is seeing each other in our full humanity and our full complexity, and understanding that the human condition is uneven, it's frail, it's imperfect. I will make mistakes, you will make mistakes. That's the beautiful and frustrated thing about being a human being on this planet. But we choose each other regardless. That's what a social movement is. We start from there, and there is no opponent, no matter how much money they have, no matter how much political power they have, that could stop us. Now, the thing that we could rely on is not only do they try to sever the connection between one another, they try to sever our connection between our ancestors and future generations.
Come on, preach. That's right.
So if you're confused and you're like, well, why are they spending so much money and so much time and political power on erasing indigenous history and Black history? And because they only succeed if they sever our connection to our history and to past struggles. And am I lying? So on top of being connected to one another, we have to demand that we're connected to our future and our past. And one of the things as a black person that gives me hope is I know this to be true of really any person of African descent from the southern tip of Chile all the way to the northern part of Canada, anybody in the Americas, I know this to be true about them, that they have an ancestor that hundreds of years ago were somewhere in the interior of Africa that was stolen away and that survived a treacherous journey where many people died and then landed in the bottom of basically a hole where they were stuck in for many, many days and many, many weeks, and many people died, and then landed in the belly of a ship. And that person survived that middle passage, but so many people died. And then they made it to a port. They made it to South Carolina or Jamaica or Cuba or Bahia in Brazil. And they had to go through the hard and dehumanizing process of trying to form a human into chattel. And many people perished. But that person survived. And then somehow that person found another person. And somehow under those conditions, they produced life. And then it happened again and again and again and again and again through slavery and again through Jim Crow and again through all of the heartbreak. And here you are.
Yeah.
And here I am. That knowledge has me clear that not only do we exist in the future, we are thriving in this future.
Yeah.
That knowledge has me clear that if we overcame chattel slavery, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Peter Thiel, they got nothing on us. That's why they must sever our relationship to one another and our relationship to history. And that's why we must maintain those connections at great risk regardless.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's quite beautiful, and it makes me think of how, particularly in relationship to trans histories, it is a way that they're erasing how long we have been here, including the first, Mother George, the first trans woman to settle Pacific Northwest in the late 1800s, right? Black trans woman, right? They don't tell you that history, and and then they erase us, and then they use that to divide us, because here's this person that doesn't have a history or exists. It's beautiful, thank you. One thing I heard you just say was talking about the beating the billionaire power, right? Dollar for dollar, we may not be able to do that. So we're facing one particular millionaire, and probably more, who are in coordination with other states, who are pushing initiatives to really take over the will of the voters and override the power of our legislators, right, and legislate in this state. Those initiatives are anti-climate, right? They are anti-police accountability. They are anti-black, anti-black curriculum, and through the through line, right, is they got the gotcha, which is the anti-trans. Yes. And so now we're facing two of the most vicious anti-trans initiatives, right? And we would be probably the first blue state to have a trans sports ban if this passes in this state. Therefore, breaking the blue wall. We're looking at, with all of these and the potential fight on the millionaire's tax that we just got, and any of the progressive revenue that we are asking for to fund our social services and reparations and a number of things, right? A $40 to $100 to $150 million fight. And that's keeping us from passing the laws that we need to, because there's fear, I think, of our ability to do this, and looking around and saying, oh, we don't have the infrastructure to do a $100 million fight over the next 4 years. I don't believe that, and I heard you say there's another way, and I want to hear how.
Absolutely. So there's a basic, really lazy colonial playbook that these people read from: divide and conquer. It's very simple. And so they succeed if they're able to wedge us and divide us as everyday people, and to keep their coalition together, right, through lies. Now, nothing that they want to do is popular. Nothing, right? So they often don't campaign based on the things they actually want to do with their power, right? It's not like people wake up and they're excited about lowering the corporate tax rate, or they're excited about no regulation on tech corporations so they could experiment with us, or no regulations on AI data centers so they could drive up our utility prices. Nobody wants that. So they have to rely on humans are fascinating, we're complicated. We build solidarity on many things. This is something that you might even experience, right? I remember I was on campus. Trust me, I'll make it plain. I was on campus when I was a college student. I was with two housemates. We didn't have a lot of money. We had to crowd into this one house. One of the people, they actually were both friends, and they invited me in. And then one of the people kind of turned on us, and it became a really toxic environment, right? And then we invited another person in, and they were like the worst housemate ever. So the three of us kind of bandied together based on our common disdain for that person. If they don't have good ideas, if they don't have solutions, they could build solidarity against who we all hate. All right, and if they can't deliver during governing, the one thing they could deliver on is we could met out cruelty against the people that we all agree we hate, right? That's basically what they're doing. So the reverse of that, and this is where we could actually build the bigger we, is, like I said before, the pissed off majority. The billionaires are so scared because nobody I've met across race, across ideology, agrees with anything they're putting down. So of course we need the boogeyman of, I don't know, 3 trans high school swimmers in California, right? Like, that needs to be the thing that we all rest our allegiances to, fighting them. Pick an issue that is felt deep and that tells the story about why we're fighting in the first place. For example, every parent is concerned that there might be a future in a few months or a year where a AI chatbot develops a relationship with their child that is deeper than the parental relationship that they have with their child. That is across race. That is across ideology. Guess who's invested in those AI chatbots? Those very same, I don't know who the millionaires are, but I guarantee those millionaires or billionaires are the ones that'll benefit from that. Ask any person the question of the person who is developing that tool that might rip your child away from you. Do you think that they have your interest in mind? All right, well, if they don't have your interest in mind and they're also funding this anti-trans assault, do you think they're trying to maybe play the okie doke with you? So I don't need you to fall in love with me. I don't need you to be comfortable with my kid dating your kid, but I need you to not get played. And I need you to join me against these guys who are trying to play you and me. We could have that conversation on every door in every county in Washington State.
Yeah, I mean, the scapegoat now is trans. We know it'll be black women, black boys. It's already been, right? And they'll go back and forth at the least popular topic at any time, so thank you. A lot of leaders in this room are trying to organize, and I mean, it's Washington State. I feel like we have a lot of bubbles that we organize in, and thankfully for gatherings like this, we're getting to know each other more. Very thankful to Initai for investing in this statewide conversation so that we can get out of our little pockets of Washington and get together and see each other in each other's homes. What would you say to a leader in one of the places that feels very isolated from the rest of the state, and maybe even a person who is one of a few of their identity or political affiliation? How do we find each other, pull each other in, and build something, right? This is a beginning, but what's next? To build something that might last 50 years.
Absolutely. Number one, there are no shortcuts worth having, period. I could tell you through, don't discover the shortcuts I discovered earlier in my years in base building and movement building. No shortcuts. Don't skip any steps. And what I mean by that is our relationships, our relational power, our relational energy, authentic connection to one another is our superpower, right? Like, they have billions of dollars, but you know what? Raising and spending money is the most basic shit you could possibly do. That money in its inert phase has no power. It's only money animated by vision and animated by connection has any power anyhow. And we are the connection people. So if you focus on building durable, meaningful, deep relationships, they will extend past our lifetimes, not just 50 years, number one. And aspire to not the transactional, aspire to actually building the communal love necessary to build resilient power and durable power. Number two, continue to show up with consistency, right? We are suffering from the traumas that say we're not worth it. So if people in community see you consistently showing up every single time, all the time, that will transform their connection to their belief that they are worth it. People walk around every day feeling that they are subject, that they are people that things happen to. And the way that organization could shift that so they believe that they are actually agents, that they are protagonists, that they make things happen. Once that shift happens, it's so hard to go back to believing that you're a subject. So that is the work. I have to help my community understand that we are not subjects. There are no kings. We make things happen, but we can't do it alone. And so going from isolation to connection, going from subject to agent, no shortcuts, and always staying committed. That is how you build something that will last many lifetimes.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to move to close, but I want to just offer really a gift of love to you. One more time, if you'll please give it up for Mo. Just give him so much love.
And thank you.
Y'all give it. Come on, y'all.
For Jaelynn and Maurice Mitchell.